Okay guys, we're gonna do 2 more days of dividing with decimal divisors, and then you should be experts. I promise we'll move on to something new after that. So if you're banging your head into the wall thinking, not another day, it's just today and tomorrow, and then after that something new. Let's take a look. I'm not gonna talk at you for very long because at this point, you've heard me say the same things over and over again, and I want to make sure that you have tons of time to practice. If this is easy for you, this is a good way to boost your GPA, because you should be getting hundreds on the prove it. Set the problem up the same way. The first number goes inside the division house, the second number goes outside. I'm not allowed to start dividing until my divisor is a whole number, so I need to grab this decimal and move it to the end. I scoop twice, and however many times I scooped here, I have to do that inside. Remember, if you don't see a decimal, it's at the end of the number. It's invisible. So grab it and scoop it 1, 2 times. Drop it off and fill in zeros as placeholders. Now I can rewrite this. 34,500 divided by 16. 16 doesn't go into 3. 16 times 2 is 32. I'm left with 2. Bring down my 5. 16 goes into 25 one time. I'm left with 9. Bring down my 0. 16 into 90, I don't know. I'm going to list my multiples. 16, 32, 48, 64, 80. That should be enough because 80 plus 16 is 96. Notice I don't ask you to do this and then just rattle them off in my head. I have to do this too when I'm dividing by bigger numbers. All of your teachers, we use the exact same strategy for this. This is just division. So don't feel like I'm just trying to punish you by using big numbers. 16 goes into 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Because 16 times 5 is 80, I'm left with 10. 16 doesn't go into 10. I can bring down my 0. 16 goes into 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Because 16 times 6 is 96. Oop, I'm running out of room. I'm left with 4. 16 doesn't go into 4. I'm out of numbers here. Before I'm allowed to do anything else, I have to add a decimal, bring it straight up, and now I can add a 0. Sorry, this is getting messy. I should have moved this up higher. 16 goes into 40, 1, 2 times, because 16 times 2 is 32. I'm left with 8, because 40 minus 32 is 8. Now that I have my decimal, I can grab another 0, and I know 16 goes into 80, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I'm done. I was out of room again, so I'm glad I'm done. 80, zeros out. Every number in my divisor has a number stacked on top of it in the quotient, so I'm done. Let's do one more, then you'll practice. Whew, that was a lot. Feels good to have a clean board. Let's set it up the same way. The first number goes inside, and the second number goes outside. If I have a decimal in my divisor, I can't start dividing until I move it to the end so that I'm making a whole number of groups. I scooped once, so I need to scoop once. My new problem is 164.48 divided by 64. Let's see how long I can get away not counting my 64s for. 64 doesn't go into 1, doesn't go into 16. Oh Lord, how many times does 64 go into 164? I need to list my multiples. 64, 128, that's as much as I can do in my head. So I need to do over here, 128 plus 64, 192. So it looks like 64 goes into 140, 64 2 times. because 64 times 2 is 128. $64 doesn't go into 36. I have a decimal, so I have to bring it straight up. I can bring my 4 down. 64 into 364. I have to keep going with these. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. 320. Okay. 64 goes into 364 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, because 64 times 5 was 320. $64 doesn't go into 44, but I can bring this 8 down. I'm going to have to add again. $448, beautiful. That means 64 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 64 times 7 is 448. I have 0 at the end. All of my numbers have a placeholder above them, so I know 16.448 divided by 6.4 equals 2.57. Your turn.